Hello everybody, I hope everyone's had a lovely week. I certainly have. I got back from Germany early this week, so I thought I would do a little video about my trip. I did vlog a little bit of the trip, but that might be a separate video. I don't even know if I'm going to bother uploading it because I didn't really vlog that much. I was a bit distracted by friends and, you know, just seeing the sights through my own eyes and not through the lens of a camera, so I don't know. If you want to see it, let me know, but I doubt it. So I thought today I would do a video regarding the cultural differences and similarities and just random things that I noticed in Germany. So let's crack on. The first thing I really noticed was smiling at strangers. So in England, if someone catches your eye, you smile straight away. That's just what you do, because otherwise people think that you're giving them dirty looks, and that's never a good thing, especially in South London, because they'll be like, "What are you staring at, bruv?" And you'll be like, "Oh no, please, like, nothing." So in Germany, people stare at you all the time, but they never smile first, so they're just staring at you like... And I started to smile back, and the amount of Germans who looked at me like I had grown an extra head just because I'd smiled at them on the street. Don't get me wrong, there were people who then smiled back, but they all looked a little bit shocked at first, so I don't think Germans smile at each other in public, which shocked me a little bit. It's just a little bit different, to be honest. The second thing, this is random, I was in the cinema. I went to go and see The Greatest Showman with my two new German pals, and at the end of the credits, in England for instance, you have da-da-da-da-da-da, boo, film finished, credits start rolling, Hugh Jackman, Zac Efron. As soon as the credits start rolling in England, the lights go up in the cinema and you leave, unless it's a Marvel film and you know that something sneaky is going to happen at the end and you have to wait until the end just to know what's going on. You just go. You go as soon as the lights come up, as soon as the credits roll. In Germany, the credits started to roll and we were in pitch black for like a good couple of minutes, and I was sitting there like, this is really weird, like why? And then the lights came up about halfway through the credits, so I was like, oh, okay, starting to go now. I started to put my hat on, and my friend Dominic was like, are you cold? And I was like, no, what? Isn't it time to go yet? And yeah, they wait until the credits are finished. I guess that's really nice, because you're giving credit where credit is due to everybody who was involved in the film, not just the kind of main actors, but that was a weird little cultural difference for me. I was sitting there like, what? The third thing is that Germans are very direct. In England, you kind of keep your thoughts to yourself, especially if they're kind of negative about someone else. You're very polite, very reserved. The Germans are very, very, very direct. For instance, Sergio, who I met through my friend Dominic, when we were out drinking one night, I was wearing one of my funky jackets. It's just a nice little bomber jacket, you know, jazzy little patterns on it, and he was like, "Why are you wearing that?" And I was like, what? Like, because I like it? I was quite shocked, but not in like a bad way. He didn't mean it horribly. He was just like, it's a weird jacket, and I was like, well, yeah, it's funky, but... Right, I just don't think an English person would ever say that, but it made me laugh. And then another fun direct story, we were in an Irish bar, me, Sergio and Dominic, and we were having a drink. So I had Sergio to my right and I had Dominic to my left, and then there were two older guys, probably in their like 50s, sitting there, and I kept seeing him listening in to our conversation, so I just thought, oh, he's a nosy German, he speaks English, he just wants to know what's going on. But no, it turned out about halfway through the conversation he butted in, and he was from Ireland, so the Republic of Ireland, and we were having a little chat about Ireland and England and stuff like that, and then we started to get our coats on because we were pub crawling, so obviously we were moving from place to place quite quickly, and he was like, "Where are you going?" And I was like, "Oh, ask him," and I pointed at Dominic because I didn't know where we were going. So Dominic started to be like, "Oh yeah, we're going on a pub crawl," and this Irish guy was like, "I wasn't talking to you," and I was like, oh my god, that's really rude of this Irishman. And it was quite obvious the reason he was being like, "I'm not talking to you, I want to talk to her," you know. So he was kind of flirting with me a little bit. And then Sergio was like, "What do you call the male version of a cougar?" "A creep." Like, right to this Irish guy's face, and I was there like, oh my god. They also, as a result of being so direct, they don't really like small talk. So if you try and make a little conversation that they're not particularly interested in, they will give you an answer. They're not rude. Well, They're very straight to the point. So to quote from this book that I bought recently, which is The Haynes Explains Germans, very funny book, made me laugh quite a lot. So there's a quote that says, "There's a thin line between being blunt and being rude, and this line gets crossed quite often without the Germans particularly caring." That is very true. Like, I definitely had to get used to that, because the first couple of days I kind of got like mixed signals. Like, I didn't really realise, didn't know if these like my new pals like liked me, or whether I had done something wrong, or whether I was just overthinking it. But yeah, I think by the end of the trip I realised that they're just quite a direct people. They're just quite straightforward, and they can be quite blunt, which can be seen as rude from an English perspective, but once you get used to it, it's actually quite nice, because there's no kind of pussyfooting around what you mean. Like, they tell you, and that's that. Like, that, black and white, done. It's quite a good thing. Direct. Oh, the next thing is that I found friendships are quite different. Like, I felt like I overstepped the mark a lot. Like, by saying things that I would normally say to my normal English friends, but it's like maybe too personal, I don't know. But there were quite a few times when they both kind of looked at me like, did you just say that? Or like, do you say these things to your friends in England? And I was like, So yeah, as a result of that, maybe try not to get too deep too quickly with Germans. Yeah, I think the Germans prefer you to kind of build up your friendships slowly. Point number 5. Ich liebe dich. I love you in German. We use I love you all the time in England. Well, I do personally. While I was away, I think 3 or 4 people probably were like, "Oh, I love you," like at the end of a conversation, not just randomly, that would be weird. But like, if I was speaking to people, they'd be like, "Oh, I love you," at the end, and I'd be like, "Oh, I love you too," like kiss kiss kiss. Just friends, like friends, that's it, just friends. And the Germans do not do that. Ich liebe dich to Germans is literally like, I love you, like the big I love you. So I have learnt never ever to say ich liebe dich ever again, because in England we would just throw that word around, be like, yeah, ich liebe dich, yeah. No, it means a lot more in German than it does in English. Don't do it. And pet names are kind of the same. Like, I constantly call people like, "Alright, my love, how are you doing, my love? Lovely," like my darling, like my Liebling. I even say it in different languages to people all the time. And yet when I was like saying my love or whatever to Germans, they looked at me like I was mental. And I was like, what? Obviously Germans don't call each other cutesy little names, but I always call people my love, my darling. So that I need to adapt around Germans, because I think it freaks them out. I just think it's nice, personally, to be like, "Alright, my love, how are you doing, my darling?" Like, nice little names, but no, very, very big difference there. The next point is that no Germans really have iPhones. They do, of course, I saw Germans with iPhones, but the majority of the people I saw had Samsungs or Android phones, which is fine, but unfortunately I left my iPhone charger at Dominic's house, my friend's house, and I was without it for 2-3 days, so I was asking everyone, including my Airbnb host, whether they had an iPhone charger, and nobody did, which, like, in England everybody has an iPhone for me. Like, it's rarer for me to find somebody who doesn't have an iPhone than somebody who does. It's odd, for me anyway, but luckily I managed to buy a new one anyway, so they do sell them and they do have iPhones. But yeah, it was just a big cultural difference there. They don't like the iPhone, which is fair enough because it's very, very expensive in comparison to other phones, so Germans being logical as usual. Point number 7, crossing the road. So the Germans wait for the green man all the time. I was standing at the crossings and you could see left, right, left, everywhere. No cars were coming at all, and yet a whole crowd of people, like 30 people, would stand there and not one of them would cross. And I was there, like, in London, you see cars coming at you and you're like, yeah, I can make that, boom, go. And that's just how it's done. So yeah, they just wait for the green man for 200 years. Even if a car hasn't been seen in the area since 1963, they will still wait for the green man to go before they cross across the road, which is safe, I guess. Nice and orderly. Just very different, that's all. Number 8 pairs with that, and that is that they walk in very straight lines, and normally on the right hand side of the pavement to, I'm guessing, match the side of the road that they drive on. And as a result, as a Londoner, you have to kind of have London legs. You have to be able to weave in and out of people very, very fast, especially on like the underground and stuff. So I'm used to walking very quickly and very kind of zigzagging haphazardly. Germans don't do that. Very, very straight lines, and even if I walked slightly to the left, people would look at me and give me a funny look like I was out of the ordinary, which I guess I was. I was in their country, that's their rules, so I started to stick to them by trying to stay on the right-hand side. But how funny. Just so different. Point number 9. Punctuality. I love it. This is probably one of my favourite things that I experienced, because I have a lot of friends who are not on time. Even if they're not late necessarily, but they'll always be kind of 10-15 minutes after the time that they've said. And I am always completely on time, which goes against everything. Like the amount of people who are like, Hannah, the party starts at 7:30, you don't actually have to get there at 7:30. And I'm like, yeah, but I do. Like, they want it to start at 7:30, so I should get there at 7:30. And I experienced that a lot. So Dominic was saying, oh, I'll meet you at the train station at 11 AM. And okay, cool. So I got there at like 10:58. He was already standing there with a coffee. Like, so he must have already been there for like at least 10-15 minutes. I was probably late in his eyes. It's just, I love it. I love it. I didn't have to stand around waiting at all by myself like I always do in England for 15-20 minutes, half an hour at times, for people to turn up. Already there. Love a bit of German punctuality. Leads me nicely on to point number 10. German coffee is very good. Really, really enjoyed the coffee. They have a lot of it as well. Kept me going in the cold as I was walking hundreds of miles every day around Bremen. Nah, not hundreds of miles, but still, it was very nice coffee, very, very tasty, and it went nicely with bread. German bread is really good. Really good. I might actually say better than French bread, which I can't believe I'm saying that, because French bread is really, really tasty as well. But yeah, just German food is really nice. But French with, you know, snails and garlic and baguettes and blah blah blah, and Spanish with tapas, and Italian with pizza and pasta. German, you think sausage and beer, but their bread and their coffee. Number 11, their formality. Handshakes everywhere. My Airbnb host, straight away he met me, gave me a handshake. We walked into a restaurant, handshakes all round. I just had many, many handshakes. And in England, I don't think I've had my hand shook in a situation that wasn't very, very formal, e.g. in a kind of working environment. People have shaken my hand at work, or in a very kind of regimented situation where you have to shake hands. But people in England, normally they give you a kiss on the cheek if you're a woman. Men shake hands a lot in England, don't get me wrong. When they meet each other, friends, relations, whatever, they do handshakes, but women get kissed on the cheek. None of that in Germany, none of that, no, just handshakes. Quite enjoyed it though, because I can, you know, practice me firm grip. I don't think my handshakes are very good. I need to spend more time in Germany to improve them. Number 12, Germans can drive so much better than English people. I've known that for years though, when I went round Germany a few years ago and we were driving down the Autobahn. Germans are just better. They stay in the lane they're supposed to stay in. They drive at a good speed. They drive at the speed limit, so they don't break it. I mean, some do, and some do go below the speed limit, of course, but the majority of people I saw drove very well and stuck to the speed limit. Soon as I got back to England, literally landed in Stansted onto the M25, I counted 13, I think, cars and vans stuck in the middle lane. We were in the slow lane going 70, so the speed limit, nothing in the slow lane at all, people stuck in the middle lane. I'm very much looking forward to summertime when I get to take my car to Germany and I can drive on the Autobahn and people know how to drive. Yay! Number 13, trains arrive on time. Oh, can you believe that? I live in southern London and as a result my train service is... Surface? My train service is Southern Rail. And as any English people who are watching me know, Southern Rail are one of the worst rail companies possible. The amount of strikes they have, the amount of delayed trains, the amount of cancelled trains. I don't think I've been on a train in the last kind of 2 years that's actually been on time. And it drives me mental. When I was going from Bremen to my friend's house to record some videos, I arrived at my platform and I don't think the train was supposed to go until 4 minutes past 2 or something, and I got there and it was like 5 to 2 and there was a train already in the platform. And I was like, is this my train? Do I get on? Do I not? So I sat down for a while on the platform just thinking, I don't really know what to do. So I got on the train and just hoped for the best, because I literally had no idea if it was the right train or not. But as soon as it hit 4 minutes past 2 or whatever, off we go, right on time. The train was early. Early! Not even on time, early! I just, mind blown. Point 14, the weather. This is a similarity. Northern Germany, anyway, is so similar to England. London, it was just wet and grey. It didn't actually rain that much when I was there, which is good. But yeah, the temperature and weather, very similar, so I felt very at home there. I wasn't freezing like I was when I went to Munich and it was snowing and I was just like, madness, this is so cold. But no, I felt very acclimatised to the temperature, shall we say. And point 15, my final point, the German sense of humour. They're kind of famous for having none. Well, that's a British stereotype of German people anyway, is that they have no sense of humour, that they are not funny. This is not true. I very much enjoyed my time with Sergio and Dominic, and I laughed constantly at them and their jokes and just, you know, the situations. They could bounce off me, I could bounce off them. So I don't think that that stereotype is true at all, really. So even though their humour might be a little bit different to English people, e.g. we love a bit of sarcasm, love it, you just adapt, don't you? Like, I was laughing the whole time I was there. So I wanted to lay to rest that rumour that Germans are not funny. Maybe I got lucky and I just met 2 of the funniest Germans around, but I had a great time, and I'm quite sad to be home, really. It's a bit crap because now I have to go back to university and work my absolute arse off for my final term. But come May, I will be travelling around Europe again, so hopefully I'll meet fantastic friends all around Europe, and hopefully quite a few more Germans, because Germany's my favourite country. I bloody love it. Bloody love it. So they are my 15 similarities, differences, cultural observations that I personally found in Germany while I was there. Obviously I haven't been there for that long, so there's probably so many more, but they were just my personal experiences. I do hope that you enjoyed them. Let me know if you enjoy these kind of videos, because I do quite like looking at different cultures, especially German and especially French, but could do others. I've been to a lot of other countries. Let me know. I hope everybody has a good week to come, and I shall see you next Friday. Tschüss, auf Wiedersehen, so long, farewell, auf Wiedersehen, goodbye. Mwah, 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 mwah.